morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders. This is Ed FX Trader for yet another video. Now, this is going to be a very important video. It's a critical update on the Euro USD, and I want to point out where we are at. So, right now, we are on the monthly time frame of the Euro USD, and what I want to point out is that this channel that has been in existence for quite a while, we are touching that channel, the resistance of this channel right now. Now, what does that mean? What's happening here? What does that mean? Okay, now this is a monthly trend line. Okay, so it is of great significance. If this trend line holds as resistance, then we are going to see the Euro USD fall down. Okay, if we break above this multi-year trend line, then we can expect the Euro USD to at least go up to this high right here on that pink line. Now, what is important about this is that it provides a very, very good trading opportunity. And the reason I say that is that back in 2018, when we were right here, right back in 2018 when we were right here. So at that time, the trend line, we were right here, and the market held as resistance. Now, this trade alone in here was one of the reasons how I was able to double my account in that year in 2018, because the market was sitting at the area of resistance, and we were expecting the resistance to hold and fall, and the market did fall. Now we are at that resistance, that multi-year resistance trend line again. Now if this trend line holds, expect this market to fall for months, probably years to come. So from this high here in February of 2018, the market fell to an ultimate low in March of 2020. So we understand that this is a very, very significant area of resistance. Okay, with that being said, as well, if the market were to break out to the top side, then we could expect this to probably rally much higher. Now, the Euro USD is inversely related to the dollar index. So if we get a break to the upside, then the dollar index will fall bearish. If the resistance holds and the Euro USD falls, then the dollar index will go up. Okay, so this is something to watch for. Now, this doesn't mean that it is going to fall now. Okay, it doesn't mean that it is going to fall now. If you actually look on the daily time frame, and if we go back into this period, right, when the market was here, if you actually go back, because I remember being in this trade and sitting in this trade waiting, we had months of consolidation. Okay, market went up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up to this area, and then that's when the breakout occurred. It just began to fall. Now, what we're seeing now is that the market is beginning to consolidate. Okay, we know markets consolidate and then break out. So we're seeing a similar thing taking place. Market went up, went down, went up, went down, and it's now going up. So we're seeing a consolidation, and a consolidation eventually means a breakout. Now, we are not going to try and predict where the breakout will occur. What we will do is trade the breakout. If the market breaks out, okay, and begins to continue to move up, then we will buy. If the market breaks to the downside, right, the market breaks through support and continues to fall down, then we will sell the market. One thing is for sure, whichever direction the market breaks out, it is going to run. It's going to move drastically, okay, because of how important this multi-year trend line is. Okay. Another argument, though, that I must be unbiased in my approach to this is that some have argued that the trend line could be drawn or should be drawn like this to touch this significant resistance here of when it fell. Now, if the trend line is drawn like that, then we already have a close above the multi-year trend line. So we already would have a breakout. Now, if that be the case, then it's either that it is a true breakout or it is a fake out, right? So what we have to do now is this breakout holds and the market continues to go up, then it will be a true breakout. But if we see the market turns and come back inside the channel, then we know that it wasn't a real breakout, okay? So what we have to do is that whichever approach do you want to take it is fine. What is important now is that whether the market has closed above the trend line or the market is sitting at the top of the trend line resistance, what is a fact right now is that the market is consolidating. Okay? So this is what we need to now pay attention to. Okay? If the market breaks above here, then we're going to expect it to run. And if it breaks above this region here, about 1700, which is support, then it could continue to fall. Okay? So it will provide a great opportunity to trade either way. And I'm telling you that when this breakout occurs, whichever direction it occurs, there's going to be a lot of money to be made. Now, one of the things that I always like to point out these patterns is because of how once we're able to identify these patterns, and we can really trade the market and make a lot of money from it, right? Because this is how the Euro-USD has been operating. Now, not only will it just provide an opportunity for us to trade the Euro-USD, is that because I said earlier on that the Euro-USD is inversely related to the dollar index. So if I bring up the dollar index, and let's say that I bring up this chart here, and we look on the monthly time frame, I will show you a similar pattern. If we actually bring up this time frame, I want to show you something. We will see here, if we bring up this trend line here, okay, and if, let me bring this in, and if we were to connect these lows here, you will see as well that the dollar index has been in this channel, okay, and we have come off the top of the channel, which could arguably mean that we could be falling down. So right here back in 2017, right, we were at the top and the market fell. We went back up to the top and the market fell. So why is it now that we are hesitant in thinking that the market is going to continue to fall? Well, if you look closely, you will also see something very important, and that is this trend line here. This trend line here is what is keeping the market up, okay? So it has bounced from resistance, right? But then there is a up trend line here that is acting as support. And from long as this trend line holds, then it will push the market back up. So how you will see this is that it is support on the dollar index. We're at a trend line support, a multi-year trend line support on the dollar index. But we're at a multi-year trend line resistance on the Euro-USD. So that is why I tell you that they're inversely related. So if this holds, then the market will go up, and similarly, the Euro USD will go down. If it breaks through here and goes down, the Euro USD will break through the resistance and go up. Okay, so it is something very important to watch. Now, if you keep an eye on the dollar index, which you know represents the US crosses, we will be able not only to trade the Euro USD, but it will give us an opportunity to trade the AUD USD. It will give us an opportunity to trade the pound USD, the USD CAD, the USD Swiss franc, USD Japanese yen, the New Zealand USD. So just from this, whatever the market decides to do, right, from just the dollar index, we will be able to trade all the major dollar crosses, okay, and probably by extension some of the exotics. So we have to pay attention to what is happening. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is going to break out now, but you can see here that the market is squeezing. Okay, so something, if it wants to go up, if the market, let me just show you here, if it wants to do this, then come back down and do it is free to do that until we reach that tipping point and the market breaks. Either it goes above, right? It breaks above or it breaks below. Whichever direction the market breaks, okay, whether it chooses to go above or it chooses to break below, is fine with us. So right now, if it breaks below, it's fine with us. If it continues to go up, that is fine with us as well, right? Either way, we will just begin to trade in the direction of the breakout. Now, this is just my opinion. I suspect that the market may just continue to range until the US election. I think that would be a major factor. Or something could happen before that causes the breakout. Who to tell? But keep an eye on the Euro USD, or keep an eye on the dollar index. It will be a major telltale. Okay, there is also a consolidation on this as well. So it just depends on what will play out. Okay, but I always emphasize these patterns because these patterns are crucial. I'm going to show you shortly a trade that I took, right, just because of the pattern that I was able to identify. But I want to do one more thing. I want to just show you the overlapping, okay? I want to overlap the Euro USD on this chart and show you how similar they are and how they move in opposite. That is why it's a major opportunity here for us. Okay, so the candlestick chart is the dollar index and the line chart in blue is the Euro USD. You'll see that when this goes up, the Euro USD goes down. When this was going down, the Euro USD went up. Okay, when this went up from here, the Euro USD went down. So we're at that crucial point right now, all right, in which a decision again needs to be taken. So we will monitor price action here. Keep this on your watch list. Pay attention to the news because I figure that something will definitely cause a breakout. Let me remove this. The euro, we already know that the dollar index has been falling. It has been falling. And the reason why it has stopped fall is because of the trend line support. Okay? So watch this trend line support. Okay? And do not ignore these currency pairs. I pointed out some time ago the Aussie USD back when it was right here, and I identified and said this is at resistance, right? And from the time I pointed out this trade, I will link it to this video, the market fell, okay, and subsequently it has turned and go up, right? Similarly, the New Zealand Canadian dollar, right? I just closed out this trade for 200 plus pips, and it was all because of this pattern, this multi-year channel, and we were at the resistance, and I made a video about this, and I said keep an eye on this, right? And I sold it from in this region, and I have made over 200 pips, and it just closed it out last night. So when you are able to identify these patterns, right, they play a significant role. So what I'm saying here is to keep an eye on the Euro USD, right, or the dollar index, and wherever the breakout occurs, go in that direction as well. And as I pointed out, that the dollar index is also consolidating, right? When you go to the daily time frame, it is also consolidating. Here it is, right? We have gone up, down, up, and we're testing this again. So let's keep an eye on what is happening, because it will provide a great trading opportunity. We're at a tipping point, right? That must be close attention, must be paid to it. It will provide a lot of opportunity. So this is Ed FX Trader signing out. Happy trading.